It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Thanks for being here this morning. So what is it, 62 years, the Kennedy assassination?
Yeah.
This Saturday. It was funny because I was already going online and people still debating it.
Yeah.
What happened? Now, I thought about this because I'm going to a show this weekend, all right, to see a Dallas band that I really love, all right? Saw them 2 years ago in San Antonio, opened for a band, never heard of them before, and they absolutely blew my mind. Great band. And they're called Motorcade.
Yeah.
And they're named after the JFK motorcade. And the concept of the band is, from what I can get, and even talking to a few of the members of the band, is life is tragic, but you plow on through. Okay?
All right.
So they're a great band. So they got invited to play for a benefit for a music school here in Dallas on Saturday night. Now, this was about a month ago. And so got my tickets and didn't think about it. And all of a sudden I went, wait a minute. They're playing on November 22nd. Okay, they could be. I mean, they're a band. And they're playing on Elm Street.
Oh.
The whole Elm Street's where the assassination took place.
Well.
And they were invited to do it. I mean, it's not like they said, we're going to do a show, as a PR stunt.
Right.
And I wrote to one of the members of the band, I said, did you know you're playing on November 22nd on Elm Street? And he said, when we figured that out, we said, oh, yeah, we have to do this show.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
But, yeah, so I'll be I like Elm. Elm Street's a cool place. I've been there a couple of times over the last couple of years, and I'm going further down from the bookstore where all the hotels are, and a lot of these big buildings have become hotels, and they got theaters and everything else.
Right,
it's the closest to Manhattan that I think you can get in Dallas. Whenever I'm on that street on a Saturday, I'm like, this is like Manhattan.
Right.
It really is. And a lot of other Dallas, like Victory Square, just isn't like it. It is, unless there's a game going on.
Right, yeah.
But, so that'll be fun. But I just thought I would relate that to you because I went, that's a little creepy. Now, another thing that's creepy, the poll that came out over the weekend, they're doing it already. Are these the first polls or one of the first polls for the 2028 election? Morning Consult doing the poll. We'll start with the Republican. Okay, who Republicans are looking at. They polled Republicans for this. The 2028 Republican presidential nomination. In the lead right now, JD Vance. 42% of Republicans want JD Vance. 7% want DeSantis. 3% Rubio. 5% Nikki Haley.
What? Really?
3% Kennedy. Why?
I don't know.
Why? He's tied with Ramaswamy.
That was going to be my next question. Where's Ramaswamy? He's tied with RFK Jr.?
Yeah.
I quit. You guys are on your own. I give up.
I saw that too. I went,
it's over.
What?
I'm buying my own hype now. We are doomed.
Okay. Yeah, 3%, and then all the rest, Cruz, Tulsi Gabbard, Youngkin, and Kemp, all with 0. But when you take And there's been 4 polls done. That one, Atlas Intel, Emerson, and Rasmussen. Now, the Rasmussen was done in August, Emerson done in August, Atlas Intel done in September. All right?
All right.
The Atlas Intel, Vance 55%, DeSantis 16%, Rubio 12%, Ramaswamy 6%, everybody else 0.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Emerson, Vance 52%, DeSantis 7%, Rubio 9%, Haley 4%. Who wants Haley? Kennedy 5%.
What?
Ramaswamy 3%, Cruz 2%, Gabbard 2%, Youngkin 1%, Kemp 2%. And then Rasmussen that was done, Vance 35%, DeSantis 10%, Rubio 10%, Haley 0%, Kennedy 0%, Ramaswamy 0%, Cruz 4%, Gabbard 2%, Youngkin 3%, Kemp none.
All
so
right.
there you go.
Hmm.
So overall, though, when you take the average, Kennedy and Ramaswamy are tied. You take the average of all the polls at 4. Kennedy Jr. beats Cruz, Gabbard, Youngkin, and Kemp. Now, let's go to the other side.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Who do you think leads for the Democrats for 2028?
Mamdani. I know it can't happen, but
It can't happen, but I still look to see if, because it's just if he appeared in a write-in vote or
right,
something.
yeah.
So here we go. And now you know why this person is saying, well, I'm not out of politics yet. Harris, 29 in the latest polling. Newsom, 20. Buttigieg, 8. AOC, 7. Everybody else with 0. So Harris is up by 9. Now, this is November. Back in September, Newsom was in the lead, 37, Harris 21, Buttigieg 12, AOC 11, Shapiro 2, Walz 4, Beshear 3, Booker 3, Spartacus 3, Whitmer 0. Yahoo News in August, Newsom 21, Harris 19, Buttigieg 10, Ocasio-Cortez 12, Pritzker 7, oh my God, Shapiro 4, Walz 4. And Emerson also was August, Newsom 25, Harris 11. But this just shows you these polls are so early that they mean nothing. But it's just interesting because she goes from 29 in the Morning Consult poll. She was back at 11 back in August. Wait a minute, now that I'm looking at it, she has gained in every one.
Wow.
She went from being in third place to now being tops. I know they're different polls, but she shows you how lost they are. Newsom has to look at that and go, how the hell can she be beating me in the last poll? But overall, if you look at the average, Newsom is leading 25.8, Harris 20%, Buttigieg 11.5, AOC 8.5, Pritzker 5.5, Shapiro 3.7. Those are the tops there.
Wow.
All right. So, and we'll get to that in a moment, the whole Newsom thing. In the general election, if it was the leader on the Republican side, JD Vance against Newsom, who would win the general election in 2028? Now, Morning Consult, not known as a Republican pollster. Vance, 42. Newsom, 41. Vance would beat Newsom. Now, in the same Morning Consult poll, if it was Harris against Vance, Harris beats Vance 43-42. If it was Newsom against Rubio, Newsom beats Rubio 41-39. If it was Harris against Rubio, Harris beats Rubio 42-40. I don't know why, but I found that very humorous. Are you trying to analyze in your mind what that means? Is that what you're doing over there?
Well, because I'm thinking to myself,
you have that pondering look.
This is how people think. I'm not going to just toss that poll and go, come on, that's not going to happen.
Oh, I'm saying it's so far out. That's why you have the way.
That's the only asterisk here, is that the thinking right now, if the election were held today, it would be illegal. Finish the sentence, would you?
That should be the only
exactly.
polling question.
Right.
If the election were held today, is it legal?
Right. But as a snapshot of where we are in this moment, I struggle to poke holes in the accuracy.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Where we are right now.
Because this is what people would rather have. They would rather live in the delusional state. It really goes back to Joey Pants in The Matrix. He's sitting there, and he's eating the steak, and he's like, I know I'm not eating a steak, but ignorance is bliss. I would rather have this delusional world that I live in that isn't real, live in the Matrix than out of the Matrix. And he becomes the traitor at that moment. And it really is the mindset of a lot of people, because here's what they see. They see it. They think that these types of policies and these types of opinions and mindsets are working, that they're paying off, that there is a payoff here. Not just literally, but figuratively, that there is a payoff for them. The rank and file people believe that it would be better to, whatever it is, go after the billionaires, go after the big corporations, the promise that everything can be free. It's all over again, and it's a new cycle. It is a new generation. But I also think not all of it is generational. I think some that were part of that generation before that believed it are kind of reliving that in their mind again, and maybe they voted for Obama back in the day, and they're a little bit older than, the 18 to 30, but it doesn't matter. I think with the right person, we've heard this before, we just haven't done it. This is the U.S. We haven't done it right. We haven't done socialism right. We can have all the free things, and yes, the rich can pay for it.
We're the United States. We can do communism right.
Exactly. Wait till we do communism. It's going to be the greatest communism of all communisms.
This is the United States. We can be the greatest communist state ever.
It's right.
The thing that I love, though, is that she's taken a huge lead. And maybe it's because part of it is the Democrats don't want to hear from Newsom because he's been talking a lot more recently. You take August, and the people were still ticked off about the election. Are they now warming up? Did Democrats buy into her? Because remember, her tour has taken place since then. Do we all look at when she does her tour and say, God, what an idiot? And they're all going, she's just so wonderful. Michelle Obama was right this week when she said, America is not ready for a female president because they didn't vote for Harris.
Right.
Because of the sexism that exists here. Mm-hmm. And this comes from somebody who we all know is the ultimate victim, Michelle Obama.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the ultimate victim. I mean, her and her husband are sitting on these, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars that they've acquired with really never having a job except he was president, and so they're cashing in on it big time.
And the thing, too, is that when you look at that mindset, that it's quite possible they looked at just the title of her book, and said, oh, that's right, she didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough time to spend with her. Now that we know she's not Biden and she wasn't going to continue the Biden years, we should give her another chance.
We never looked at her as her own autonomous self.
Yeah.
We always related her to part of the Biden administration.
Yeah.
But really, she made it clear that there were differences, and so now we should consider her.
Yeah.
God help us.
No, I mean, that's that's where I can actually hear people saying that. We've been doing this too long. And in terms of the snapshot today, I can't punch holes in any of the accuracy of these polls.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Owner-operators can save a hefty amount of money by participating in discount fuel networks. If you're leased and your fleet has a fuel optimizer program, use it. Such a program helps plan a trip based on fuel prices and locations in the carrier's fuel network. The larger the carrier, typically the larger the discounts that are possible. Fees for using such networks have become rare thanks to competition for drivers. Owner-operators are well advised, however, to pass up network fuel stops that are too costly, are too far off route, sell inferior fuel, or are dangerously or poorly maintained. For independent owner-operators, a bevy of fuel discount networks exists, from a variety of traditional fuel cards to the National Association of Small Trucking Companies network and the younger mudflap applications discounts at independent truck stops around the nation. Research the options and discounts available to find the right one for you. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics.
Brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. The one thing, though, is in the poll with Newsom losing to Harris, and you wonder why, and especially with the success of Mamdani, and I would like to see a poll of what Democrats nationwide think about him.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
What is it about Gavin Newsom's just as radical as Mamdani is? We talked about this before. People are saying, well, this is socialism, communism being brought in like never before to the Democratic Party. No, it's not.
No.
The Green New Deal was.
Yep.
Yep. We cannot have short memories. The Green New Deal and what it would have done would have been the biggest federal movement towards Marxism, socialism, communism, if it would have ever passed that we would have seen in this country. And if the Democrats get in power again, expect something like that to be proposed again. Remember, all Democrats initially were behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And AOC is the one who proposed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who should run the economy? AOC. But I really think part of it is, I do think it's an ageism thing. I think that people look at Newsom and say, he's been around too long.
No, I think there is a case to be made that he is seen by the Democrats, by rank and file Democrats, as part of the old crew, as establishment Democrat. I think he has been around too long. It's not just his age, it's the fact that he's been doing it for way too long. His name's been out there for way too long.
Listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Now, one of my other favorite headlines was yesterday, Eric, in National Review about Olivia Nuzzi and her emotional affair, non-sexual emotional affair with RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And apparently her affair with Mark Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
And, the whole story about, her talking about the fact that if you cover a politician, you shouldn't be involved with them.
Right.
And that's what that's all about. But Jim Garrity, National Review, a vivid portrait of a torrid affair between two lunatics.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I just absolutely just love that. He said, and he says, it will not surprise you that a certain number of people who are attracted to the world of politics are crazy.
Yep.
I'll leave it to the professional psychologist to determine if they meet the legal definition. But I suspect you've encountered and interacted with plenty of people and walked away with the impression, wow, they really got a screw loose.
Yeah.
The realm of politics attracts crazy people like moths to a flame, in part because that domain seems to be the easiest path to getting what they want. The world of politics has money, although probably less than you think at lower levels. It has fame and a certain kind of glamour. Washington is famously mocked as Hollywood for ugly people.
Okay. All right.
And he just went in. He goes. Then he writes about 10 paragraphs down. He says, "I can hear it now. I don't care about Nuzzi."
Yeah. Right.
But I just saw the headline, and I don't want to spend much time on it. I mean, it is about the hypocrisy of journalists, though, as we all know.
Right.
Claiming one thing and doing another, and I have great doubts, though, that it was a strictly just emotional relationship.
Right.
But just, and I thought about that headline after I saw that Kennedy has as many Republicans that want him to run for election as Ramaswamy.
Yeah, they're both at 3%.
In the latest poll, 4% across all the polls so far for 28. Not a lot, but still, the fact that Ramaswamy doesn't have
compared
10
to Ramaswamy,
and he has 0.
Right.
That's. But we were talking about Newsom here, and I thought Victor Davis Hanson went after Newsom the other day. We were talking about what's Newsom. Why has he gone down? We know, again, it's 2028, a long way from now, but it's Democrats being polled, and more Democrats want Harris than him, which has to bother him.
Yeah.
I think part of it is his age, and he's viewed as part of the establishment. I think another part of it over the last 6 months was him doing the podcasting stuff and being friendly and reasonable with Republicans and people like the late Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of it. Here's Victor Davis Hanson, though, on Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom, who, remember, he had Charlie Kirk on his podcast, and he was going to be the voice of moderation. I believe that biological men shouldn't be in women's sport. All his little bones he threw to the moderates. He thought that's the future of the party. And then he thought, yeah, but I'd never get nominated because my party's insane in the primaries. So what I have to do is move to the left where I was and act really left. And then when I get nominated in 2028, I can go back and say, oh, I had Charlie Kirk on my podcast. So right now, because he has no identity, he doesn't know who he is. He's empty. He's a shadow of a person. He's a shadow of a shadow. And he has really destroyed his political career because everybody has eyes and they see of cops pelted with concrete from overpasses. They see the 101 shut down. They see stores looted. They see people assaulted. And they get furious when they, and I'm talking about mostly Hispanics, who a recent poll this week, 53% of Hispanics support Donald Trump and his efforts. CBS said it was, I think, 56%, 54 to 56% supported deportation. But when you see somebody flying a flag of the country they don't want to go back to and burning the flag of the country or spitting on it that they insist they have a right to stay, that is a losing optic.
Now, I agree with that. He does have an identity. He's a liberal. But he is trying to portray himself. The podcast, we thought from day one that the podcast hurt him. We said because the Democrats don't want to hear it.
Right.
Democrats overall understand that he's a radical, but they don't like the fact that he was trying to moderate. They don't like that at all.
No.
He was moderating before he needed to moderate.
Way ahead of
Right, way ahead of ahead of time.
He was 4 years from where he needed to moderate if we're talking about running at 28.
But I think that when Victor Davis Hanson says he has no identity, doesn't know who he is, he's empty, he's a shadow of a person. Yeah, I think a significant portion of independents and Republicans think that. I don't think Democrats do. I think Democrats just look at him and go, he's part of the establishment. We need the new blood. We need the AOCs. We need the Jasmine Crockett.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised after this week with Jasmine Crockett that her favorability rating among Democrats goes up.
Yeah, no, it might. Here's the thing. I think what we're seeing right now, quite possibly, is where the energy is. When Obama came around and spoke at the convention in 2004, then everybody was like, hey, let's keep watching that guy. Next thing you know, he's running in 2008. But they didn't have this whole group of young next generation of Democrats. He was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I think they also saw that last year at the GOP convention, you saw the future of their party. You didn't see the Mitch McConnells. You certainly didn't see the John Boehners. He's no longer active in the party. But you didn't see the old schools. And I think taking a cue from that, quite possibly, they look at it and say, we need the young radical. It's exactly what David Hogg was telling them when he was one of the top people at the party. And he was saying the people in my age group between 18 and 30 aren't voting for us anymore, so we need more radical people. We need younger radical people running. Next thing you know, Jasmine Crockett was already in place, but AOC was already in place. And Mamdani wasn't brand new, but hadn't won the mayoral election yet. And I think they look at this, and I think what there is now is it creates this thirst, this hunger for more and more young radicals. Let's go find, because the one thing we know on this side is they're not required to be smart. So if you think about that, when we were looking on the right for the future of the party, we were looking for people who would fight, but also people who were thoughtful and smart and would not shy away from debates anywhere or interviews anywhere, and could at any time of day, anywhere, talk about their convictions. Well, with the left, they don't need to be smart. They just need to be loud. They need to have that performance art thing going at whatever level. And I think that's what they're looking for, the new performance artist that's running for office. It was announced a couple hours ago, Swalwell on Jimmy Kimmel, that he's going to be running for governor of California in 26. He's been around for a while. I don't necessarily see him as he's radical all day. I don't see him as the young radical. I guess we'll see what the people of California see him as. But I think they're looking for more and
No, just very quickly, I'll let you continue because I don't want to forget this point. I'm sitting there going, and I realize I cannot take my view of Swalwell and at all project it towards Democrats because my first thing was, well, come on, he doesn't stand a chance.
Right.
Is my first thought.
Right. Nope.
I don't have the mind of a Democrat.
Right.
It may be exactly who they want to run California.
I certainly don't have the mindset of a California Democrat.
Right, exactly.
I'm light years from that planet, so I don't know. Could work out well for him. I don't know. I don't think he's good for California. But the person that I would put in that office that I think should lead would have to come from winning the election, and people don't in California, our audience there notwithstanding, don't agree with us on that. So you have to look at the Democrats that run that, the rank and file Democrats that run that state. And he might do well. I don't know. Can't wait for the first polls. Can't wait to see where it's going to go and, how this thing is going to work out or not. But Newsom, I think, there's a couple of things. Newsom doesn't come off as slick enough, as angry and radical enough, even though he is a radical. He's got he's not, I think, one of the big missteps, one of the big failures was handling the wildfires.
Yes.
The mishandling of the wildfires.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
The entire state saw that. And he was being called out, and he comes off as you heard it just described, as empty. He's a shadow of a shadow. There's nothing there. He's not real. He only cares about the way he looks on camera or the way he sounds on his podcast. He doesn't actually care about working, fighting to implement things. And imagery isn't enough anymore. You've got to be that radical, but you've got to go beyond the radical political ideas on the surface that we all know of, the giving you free things and everything else. You've got to be an activist. You have to be a full-on activist, and you've got to show some kind of track record as an activist. And that was the case with Barack Obama. They called it community organizer. He was an activist. They want to see, the radicals on the left want to see somebody who is an activist running in 2028, a true full-on activist. That is going to be their response to the Trump era.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
And I'm Gary McNamara. Well, the interesting thing, I can't wait to see how this comes out and whether there's going to be a press conference or whether the meeting, the reporters will be there or not. And this is Mamdani meeting with Trump. Let's hear Mamdani before the election and then after the election when he's announced he was going to meet with Trump.
Right.
He wasn't that way on election night, but here we go.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
Wow. That doesn't sound too radical.
Oh, by the way, that judge had said that Trump has to remove National Guard troops from Washington.
Yeah.
That's going to get blown out, by the way.
Yeah.
The president has Washington, D.C. if you think there may be a legal argument in other cities, the city with the least argument would be Washington, D.C., which is completely under what the federal government wishes to do.
Right. Exactly.
It's completely a different ballgame. That shows you, again, the radicalism of the liberal justices that exist right now.
Yep, the activists on the bench, they're everywhere, and we see it every time I see judge rules Trump has to. I'm thinking, yawn.
Now, what I want to see is a reporter ask Trump today if they do a press conference. Is Mamdani a commie? And I want to see what Trump's response is.
That's what I want to see. I want to see what comes out.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.